The Alxum Game Card Reader for Nintendo Switch is a fantastic option for any people that love to have multiple video games on the go at any one point in time. If you're anything like me, I tend to be playing multiple different video games at one point. I don't focus on one single game over a month. I kind of dip in and out of multiple different games. For example, on the Nintendo Switch, I'm currently playing Mario Odyssey, I'm playing Mario Donkey Kong, I'm playing Cars Driven to Win, as well as a whole load of other games that my family like to play as well. When you're in a situation like that, you tend to have a lot of games lying around. And worst case scenario, you have carts scattered around the house. And we all know how small those Nintendo Switch carts are and how easy they are to use, especially when you've got your kids swapping them in and out and not putting them in the cases. But the Alxum Game Card Reader solves that issue brilliantly and has really helped to declutter our family gaming area, but also relieve a huge anxiety of mine of the kids just leaving game carts everywhere. The Alxum Game Card Reader is a device that slides on the back of your standard Nintendo Switch dock, and it sits behind the Switch itself. It's powered by USB directly from the Switch dock, and it provides input for up to 8 game cards. The Alxum Game Card Reader has its own kind of like cart on a ribbon that slides into the Switch itself to provide the input, and also has a remote, which means you don't even have to get up off your couch to switch games. Setting up the Game Card Reader is as simple as it gets, and once you've got everything plugged in, you're good to go. The one thing I will say is it does feel a little bit bulky on the Switch dock itself, and with the extra USB cable that's needed to power it, it does feel a little less tidy on the back. The good thing is all these extras are on the back, so you don't really see it visually on the front. But that OCD side of you could get a little bit frustrated, and you might want to try and get yourself a pretty short USB cable so you don't have extra USB wire hanging out the back. Now, plugging everything in and switching on the Switch itself, I have to say straight away I had a small issue and I didn't think things were going to go very well. Powering on the Switch, and instantly it told me there was a problem with the game card. Now, the Switch itself just thinks there's a single game card in the device. So I thought maybe the ribbon had a bit of a problem, so I took that out, checked it, put it back in, and still it was telling me there was an issue with the game card. What it did turn out to be though was it seemed to just have a problem recognizing any single card as soon as we switched it on. The solution was to just eject and reinsert one of the cards from the selection of 8, and instantly it all worked. Now, this was repeatable. Now, I don't know if it will happen every single time, but the few times that I did try it myself, it was the same situation. It's not perfect and it's not ideal, but essentially it's just one extra step to perform, and then after you've done that, everything's working smoothly. I've just been playing around with it again, and I think I've figured it out actually. I think it's a sequencing thing. I think if you put the ribbon cart in first, and then put your games in, you don't have an issue. But if you put the games in first and then put the ribbon cart in, that's when I don't think the Switch really knows how to recognize the device. Now, I wasn't quite sure how switching over with the remote would work, how quickly it would happen, or if there'd be any issues of the Switch reacting to the switch over of game. But I have to say it was really easy, and this is where the device shines. Sitting on your couch and just pressing a button to switch to the next game was absolutely brilliant. And like I say, you don't have to take out any carts, put in new ones, and remember to put them back in the case. Now, for us adults, that's not too hard, but if you've got kids running around, that seems to be one of the hardest things in the world for them to figure out. A little nice extra touch on the Alxum Game Card Reader as well is that it has a little triangle which glows a different color to let you know which game card is in use. This I thought was a nice little extra touch, and after a few uses you will remember which colors represent which card number. Now, the Alxum Game Card Reader is a fantastic little device and really convenient as well. It's not without its issues, it's not perfect. Like I said, having to eject and re-inject the card doesn't instill 100% confidence, and also it does add extra bulk to the Switch dock itself. But Alxum do have an alternative option that solves the issue of bulkiness in the fact that they have an actual Switch dock itself with the card readers already built in. Now, the game card reader itself, which I've been talking about, costs around £45 on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description below. If you did want to look at the dock, that's around about £85, but the dock itself only provides access for up to 4 cards. And personally, first, I did think I wanted the dock and the fact that it's nice to have an extra dock around the house, and also it's nice that everything's built in. But in reality, when I realized how many games we actually do play, having access to 8 game cards at once that you don't have to swap out is really, really handy. And for me, I'll accept that extra bulkiness to have access to the 8 cards. If you do want to get your hands on one, links will be in the description below. But if you do want to check out what the dock alternative is like, then there's a good chance we'll be covering that in a future episode, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that.